I want you to imagine something. It is 3 a.m. Everything is still. The world has shut its eyes, dreams drifting behind closed lids. You lie in bed, heart beating softly, weirdly aware of your breathing. Then you hear it. A knock. Soft, insistent, deliberate. Not like the accidental bang of wind or a door moved by the house settling. This knock is human. This knock is choice. This knock is coming for you. That was my night. That is the night I will never forget. That is the night I learned. Never answer a knock at 3 a.m. I was 23. My apartment was small but clean. My roommate was away for the weekend. My cat, Milo, curled at the foot of the bed, snoring quietly. The city outside throbbed with a hum of distant traffic, streetlights stretching up between buildings, red eyes blinking. All locked up and safe. Or so I thought. I had drifted asleep around midnight, a book falling from my hand, shadows dancing on the ceiling as I slipped under covers. Then the silence broke. 3 sharp knocks. Top, top, top. Like someone was at the door. Hard, precise. I jolted awake, heart pounding. My first thought, wrong apartment, or a delivery, or someone drunk. I slipped out of bed, every instinct telling me to stay hidden. The air was cold, but sweat pricked my skin. Milo stirred, ears flattening. I listened. Nothing but my own breathing. The knocking again. More insistent. The sound traveled down the hall, through that thin wooden door. I held my breath. I tiptoed across the carpet, every fiber of my being screaming, "Don't open." I peered through the peephole. Nothing. I saw nothing but darkness. No shadow of a face. No figure. The hallway was lit by a single dim bulb that flickered, painting grotesque shapes against walls. I waited. Another knock. Like some twisted ritual, or maybe someone desperate. I called out. "Who is it?" My voice cracked. Silence. The knocking stopped. I stood frozen. I could hear my heart, loud as thunder in my ears. I watched the door, waiting, expecting something. Seconds stretched. Minutes maybe. Then a whisper of movement outside. Soft footfalls. A scraping. Something brushed against the wood. I backed away, fingers grazing my phone on the bedside table. I wanted to call 911, but that number felt too frail, too distant, in the face of whatever was out there. I thought maybe they were drunk, maybe lost. I thought maybe a prank. I thought maybe nothing. I was wrong about all of it. I pulled the door shut, locked both deadbolts. The door frame shuddered. Someone's fist struck the door. Hard. Wood groaned. My body shook. Milo screeched. I pressed myself against the opposite wall, knees buckling. I had not realized until then how fragile safety feels. How quickly confidence, peace, sleep can turn into terror. I grabbed my phone and rushed to the window across from the door. I peered out. Parking lot. Empty cars. Mist rising from the pavement. No one. No one at all. I pressed sweat-cooled fingers to the glass. Breath fogged it. I strained to listen. Only distant traffic. The hum of headlights. Then I heard a voice. Low. Gravelly. Maybe 2 feet from the other side of the door. "Let me in," it said. Just once. "Let me in." Paralyzed, I shook, whispering, "No, who is it?" The voice laughed. A sound that made my skin crawl. Laugh with no warmth. Laughter that sounded like decay. "I need to get warm," it said. "I'm just cold." I didn't believe it. My throat was dry. I wanted to run. I wanted to hide. But where would hiding take me? I was in my small apartment, no locks beyond the door. No escape. I called my friend. Her name was Leah. I whispered into the phone, voice trembling so she could hear. I told her. She said to call the police. I nodded though she couldn't see me. I dialed. Hand shakes. I whispered through. "Someone is outside my apartment. They're knocking. They're asking to be let in." The dispatcher asked questions, address, description, etc. The voice outside the door grew frantic. "Open the door," it said. "You hear me? I won't hurt you." That promise wasn't comforting. I hung up after the operator said someone will come. I told Leah to stay on the line until police arrive. Knocking again. Louder. Hammering. I thought the door might split. I slumped to the floor, Milo scratching behind couch cushions. I wrapped my arms around my knees. My phone's screen glowed, Leah's voice on other end, soft, "Stay calm." But calm felt like an impossible dream. A shadow passed under the crack of the door. Something or someone pulled at the handle. I saw the deadbolt jiggle. I held my breath. I clenched my eyes shut.
Prayed.
Then a silence. After what felt like endless minutes, sirens. Faint, distant. The pounding at the door slowed. I heard someone retreating. Another voice whispering. Then footsteps, fast, hurried, down the stairs. I cupped my ears, listening until the sirens drew closer, then further away. I heard a car door slam. Engine rev, tire squeal.
Gone.
I stayed like that, huddled, in the dark, until sunlight crept through the curtains. My phone died long ago. I didn't move until I saw the red and blue lights through the window. Police. 2 officers came. I opened the door. They looked at me, looked at the lock, at the broken doorknob as though it had been pried. I let them in. They made me sit, asked questions, took photos. Found footprints outside, muddy and smeared. No fingerprints inside. No intruder caught. Just evidence of someone trespassing, trying to break in, trying to shift my world. I felt broken.
Exposed.
I slept on the couch that morning, too afraid to climb into bed. The walls, the door, everything could still shift. Someone might still be outside, waiting. I replayed every noise that day. The wind, the HVAC, the cat. I saw the night's whispers in the safety of daylight, but nothing chased me.
Yet.
It took days to sleep properly again. Weeks to eat without glancing at windows, stopping at shadows. I patched up the door, added more locks, got motion sensor lights. I bought deadbolts. I changed the locks. But none of that fixed the fear inside. Inside my chest, a tremor every time the phone rang. Every time I closed my eyes. Because the truth is, some things leave their mark. I tell you this because I know too many people shrug off a knock at the door. It's nothing. Probably a neighbor. Maybe someone needs help. But there is a moment between curiosity and danger when answering can become regret. When compassion can become a doorway wide open. When the ordinary becomes the crack in the barrier between safety and horror. I believe in kindness. I believe in helping. But I also believe in protecting self when you do not know what stands outside. The night is full of voices.
Some are needy.
Some are lost. Some are lying. They mimic desperation. They approach doors. They knock. They promise warmth, promise mercy. And sometimes they demand entrance. They need only one gap, one opportunity, one open latch. I remember the voice again. I need to get warm. My heart wanted to think it was just someone cold, someone alone. But every horror story, every tragedy, starts with a small choice, a moment when skepticism is traded for trust and vulnerability becomes exposed. And lest you say, that wouldn't happen to me. I remember telling myself that. I used to think locks were enough. I used to think my instincts would guard me. I used to tell myself horror stories only happen to others. But horror has no respect for preparation. It doesn't check backgrounds. It doesn't need reasons. It comes uninvited, in the dead of night. It knocks on doors. It searches eyes. It settles into hearts. I remember closing my eyes, trying to imagine something soothing, where I was safe. But horror is an echo. It reverberates. You open one door, and it echoes down every other door you leave unlocked. Every trust you extend without caution. Every moment you think love or compassion must triumph over fear. Sometimes compassion is dangerous. Sometimes silence is safer. Sometimes knowing you might be judged for locking the door is less risky than opening it. I tell you now, never answer a knock at 3 a.m. Not even to see who it is. Not even a crack of the door. Stand far. Observe. Call for help if your gut screams. Let someone else judge what's on the other side. Let the police, let security. Do not let curiosity betray your safety. Do not let the thought, what if they need help, undo the most critical thing, your right to feel safe. Because when you open that door, you may not see the face behind it. You may feel the weight of silence, the press of eyes, a hand you didn't anticipate, a voice that wasn't pleading, a presence that doesn't belong in the house you paid for, the home you built, the safety you thought you constructed. Sometimes the person behind the door is already inside you, in your fears, in your regrets. I want you to imagine it's 3 a.m. and you hear that knock.
Talk, talk, talk.
And you stay where you are. You breathe. You count. You listen. You observe. You feel the tremor, but you do not move forward. Because once you cross that threshold, once you open, once you trust too easily in the dark, you may never fully step back into peace again.